We have a bridge that desperately needs to be redone. It's in really bad condition. Let's have a look at that. Come over here and it'll be very obvious. We've got lots of soundboard work to do as well, but we're more or less ignoring that for the time being. This, it looks like, has had some work done. That's like an epoxy kind of putty mess in there, and it didn't hold clearly. And so all of these pins that are just, yeah, this is bad. This is really bad. So this has to be totally redone, obviously. So far, the bass strings here have been removed temporarily. We're not doing a full restringing, so all we've done is just taking the tension off the strings, then taking them off the hitch pins, and just to kind of get them out of the way, zip tie them all together, and they're good there. But that'll be very handy. We're going to try and get away with, this is just kind of a side note, get away with leaving the rest of the strings on and doing all of this other repair work, fixing all of those soundboard issues with these strings on, which is, it's not ideal, but for the scope of this project, that's what's got to be done. But purpose of this video is to get the bridge off. So this can be tricky, and we don't always know what is going to happen. Sometimes they're glued on really well. Sometimes they pop right off. I'm guessing, based on how these other things are going, how the other wood on this piano looks, that this bridge will probably just pop right off. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and demonstrate how we take the bridge off. Now it can be done. We can, and we have on many occasions, we have recapped the bass bridge before with the bridge still on. It's just a major pain. It's just unpleasant. And it requires a few extra steps. Let's see what I'm going to push against. I'll try that maybe. So I'm just going to put the bridge under tension right there. So I mean, it's, as you can see, it's we're just pushing it. That's all that's going on. And if you didn't see what I did on that clamp, so these, they have the squeeze clamping power, or if you take this off just by pushing that out, there, just push that out, pop it right off, put it on the other side, lock it there. Now it's a spreader. And sometimes you just have to be creative where you put the clamp. Okay, so I'll start by taking out these screws. And by the way, the reason that I'm putting these clamps on is because what I find is when you pound on the bridge to get the glue to release, it's much more effective when it's under this kind of tension. It's kind of like, I had a pickup truck once, and the hitch, you know, the square receiver, I don't know what that's called. Anyway, the hitch was like rusted in there. It was just completely stuck on, and there was nothing I could do to get it out. I tried hammering it and then pulling. I tried pulling. I even tried like putting a giant ratchet strap and just, you know, pulling it straight out, and nothing worked until I put, let's see, the other side of the ratchet strap I anchored to the building and then anchored it to the receiver, put it under really high tension, like high tension enough, this relates to the bridge, high enough tension that it was like a slack line, you know, that you could walk on. So I mean, it's really pulling tight. And then with a hammer, just start banging away. And after 3 or 4 hits, with the tension and the sudden blows of the hammer, it just pulled right out. And that was after being rested in there for several years. So same idea here, where when we're putting the bridge under a little bit of tension from these clamps, and then what we'll do is we'll put a block, smaller block, put a block here, and then just start tapping. We'll go all the way around. Sometimes it can take as much as 20 or 30 minutes. I'm guessing this one is gonna just come right off. You can also use this, something like that, to sort of, well, get in there wherever you can. Slide under there. No, there's no space under there. But yeah, sometimes you just have to be creative. Maybe this will slide under there. Yeah, so you can get that under there and just kind of tap. Just keep going around the perimeter, and then that glue will give way eventually. It always does. And it's the rare exception that the glue just absolutely will not give way for whatever reason, or maybe it's just not practical. So we need to make a little router table and do all of the work in here. We need to make like a custom. Okay, now that I've got that out, put that under a little more tension. Okay, then under here, we've got these 3 screws that have these soundboard buttons. So there's one. Well, for these other 2, why don't you take the camera up above, and let's see what happens when we get these screws out. So 7 screws total, 3 through the soundboard with the soundboard buttons, and 4 down through the base apron, the cantilever. The reason for the cantilever, by the way, is so that the part that's actually touching the soundboard is closer to the center. So it enables the designer to make the strings as long as possible. Tight screws. Make those strings as long as possible. Looks like we didn't even need any pounding. So just with the tension of the clamps, as soon as that last screw came out, the bridge came right out. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll remove these screws here, and this we'll be able to repair the apron, this crack there, separately from the from the bridge itself.